Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Wahid Lodin.
And I'm Akeisha Nabeta.
Former Secret Service Director Joseph Clancy is temporarily filling in as director. Julia Pearson stepped down yesterday after taking responsibility for some major security breaches during her tenure. White House Chief Spokesperson Josh Earnest says the administration is evaluating the situation.
Over the last several days, we've seen recent and accumulating reports raising questions about the performance of the agency. And the president concluded that new leadership of that agency was required.
Just a couple of weeks ago, a man with a knife ran into the White House and got to the East Room before he was stopped by an off-duty officer. A few days before that incident, an armed security contractor was allowed on an elevator with President Obama.
The LAUSD Board of Education members are meeting to further discuss the future for Superintendent John Daisy. The LA Times reports the board has hired lawyers to come to an agreement with Daisy on his departure. The terms of his employment contract state he can be terminated at any time at the board's discretion. The board met Tuesday to discuss his upcoming evaluation. Daisy is being held responsible for problems in the district, particularly the billion-dollar iPad program and the so-called Mises crisis involving student tracking.
Dallas health officials say more than 80 people are now in isolation and under observation after exposure to the Ebola virus. These are family members and medical technicians who had direct contact with Thomas Eric Duncan, the first Ebola patient in this country who came to Dallas from Liberia about 2 weeks ago. Dr. Mark Lester says Duncan was not diagnosed earlier because of a miscommunication.
Regretfully, that information was not fully communicated throughout the full team. And as a result, the full import of that information wasn't factored into the clinical decision-making.
Public healthcare workers are taking precautions and monitoring these contacts twice a day. Duncan remains in stable condition at a Dallas hospital.
Here at CSUN, some students seem unaware of the Ebola outbreak, but others say they started following the story.
So I'm a little worried, but hopefully they can figure out and they can shut that down and treat it before it really does expand and affect a lot of other people.
Honestly, my worry level is not that high, so maybe when I hear about it in California, I might start getting a little worried about it.
Health officials in the U.S. are doing their best to contain the virus and encourage people to have a checkup if they are experiencing flu-like symptoms or have just returned from West Africa.
Tensions in Hong Kong are escalating as riot police bring tear gas and other weapons to the protests. Protester Robert Chow is threatening to occupy government buildings if Chief Executive Chun Ying does not resign.
We have to occupy different government buildings. We have to guard every key passageway, surround the government headquarters. This is to allow all our participating friends to go to the Chief Executive Office building to support each other.
Chun Ying says he will hold talks with pro-democracy protesters but will not comply with their demands to resign. Chinese protesters and police are currently in a standoff outside of the government headquarters.
A 6-mile tunnel has been found connecting North Korea to Seoul in South Korea under demilitarized zones. Officials from the South say residents contacted them after feeling vibrations underground and realizing there was no subway nearby. Inspectors detected 3 tunnels 13 to 16 feet wide and up to 39 feet deep. Tunnels have been under South Korea since 1970, but no new ones have been found in about 25 years. South Korean officials believe the tunnels were dug by North Korean soldiers, but North Korean officials say the tunnels were used for mining.
In Florida, Michael Dunn has been found guilty of first-degree murder for shooting 17-year-old Jordan Davis. Dunn shot into an SUV full of teenagers 2 years ago in Jacksonville. Dunn reportedly began an altercation with the teenagers over loud music playing in their car. 3 of the 10 shots fired hit Davis and went through his liver, lung, and aorta. Prosecutors say Dunn will face a life term with a minimum of 25 to life for using a firearm.
Watch out, Southern California. A heat wave is coming that will put us in a fire danger through the weekend. Firefighters in Ventura and Los Angeles County are preparing for the dangerous fire conditions. Temperatures are above normal, climbing into triple digits over the next 3 days. Santa Ana winds and wild humidity increase the risk of fires. The Los Angeles Fire Department said conditions are only expecting to get worse. Red flag warnings are in effect throughout Southern California for this fall heat wave.
In Fresno, 4 teenagers have been arrested for slaughtering more than 900 chickens at a Foster Farms facility. The teenagers, all under 18, were arrested and charged with burglary, felony, and animal cruelty. The sheriff's office says the teenagers tore apart the shed's wall. Up to $5,000 worth of chickens are dead.
Matador News reporter Angela Hoffman is in the Sundial studio to talk to contributing editor Jonathan Diaz about parking problems here on campus.
I'm sitting here with this Daily Sundial contributing editor Jonathan Diaz. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to answer a few questions.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Who came up with this idea to create a mobile app to assist students in finding parking?
Well, it was started in 2011 by a grad student who, like every other CSUN student, was upset he wasn't able to find a parking spot before class. So he came up with the idea of starting a mobile app, developing a mobile app to assist students with finding a parking spot.
There are roughly 40,000 students on this campus. Do you think this app will help, and why?
Yeah, I mean, not all the students actually drive their own car to campus. Some commute, others carpool. But definitely, I feel like the app will help students. They can check the app before they leave for class to see which parking lot has available parking. And I think it will help save them some time on their commute, finding a parking spot.
Lastly, to my understanding, this app has not been presented to university administrators. When will it be presented, and will the students see an increase in their tuition fees?
Well, the app was developed using money from the campus quality fee, which is a fee that is similar to the student success fee that's been talked about at other CSU campuses. It's a fee that every student pays with their tuition. So there will be no additional fees as far as that goes. As far as when the app will be done, the developer has been mum on any further details. There's been sensors put in place in some parking structures to assist with locating a parking spot. But as far as that goes, there's been unfortunately no further development in when the app will be completed.
Well, thank you very much once again for joining us. Back to you in the studio.
Now let's go to Laura Ponce with the business news.
Thanks, Wahid. At last check, the Dow Jones was up 22 points. The Nasdaq was at 13.4 points. Oil continues its multi-week slide, falling just below $90 a barrel. OPEC says it will still keep oil production at current levels despite the weakening global economy. The number of people looking for unemployment benefits drops to its lowest level in more than 8 years. The steady decline started in April after the brutal winter conditions that temporarily slowed our economic growth. In August alone, employers added more than 140,000 jobs to the market and expect that number to be even higher for September. Now let's go to Brenda Garcia with the latest in health.
Thank you. 4 patients who tested positive for the norovirus D68 have died. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say it's unclear that the virus actually played a role in their deaths. These deaths do raise a concern since the virus has been worse this year. The CDC says 500 people in 42 states have respiratory illnesses caused by the norovirus D68. Those infected include 10-year-old Emily Otrando from Cumberland, Rhode Island, who died earlier last week. Some of the symptoms that patients with the virus have been experiencing include weakness in the limbs, cranial nerve dysfunction, abnormalities in spinal gray matter, and partial paralysis. We've all heard the popular line, "It's not you, it's me," but a recent poll suggests it might not be you after all. It's your city. A survey by Pew Research mapped which cities have the best and worst marriage market. If you're a woman looking for a man with a job, the city you want to be in is San Jose, California. For every 100 women, there are 114 employed single men. And if you're a single man looking for a woman, Memphis, Tennessee tops the list. For every 59 single men, there are 100 single women. Let's turn to Laura Ponce with some lifestyle news.
Facebook is issuing an apology for deleting the accounts of drag queens and transgender people. The accounts were deleted for using drag names rather than legal names. The social network has always required users to go by their real name for security purposes. The real names policy on Facebook is not changing, but the way it's enforced might. The company says drag queens have other ways of maintaining their stage identities on the site by creating a page meant for public figures. Netflix is taking a leap into the movie business. The streaming service announced today that they signed a 4-film production deal with Adam Sandler. The comedic actor will be starring in all 4 films, which will premiere exclusively on Netflix. The deal follows Netflix's announcement to stream a sequel to the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Matador News reporter Jareena Silva is in the newsroom with more on the story.
CTVA Professor Nate Thomas says the new deal is a push to new beginnings for the entertainment industry. He says this kind of deal will force other media outlets to produce better quality films.
Do quality programming equal to feature films. So it forces all the outlets to do better programming.
The new Netflix deal allows entertainment to be streamed online at the viewer's convenience with no commercial interruptions. Now, Brenda Garcia has the latest news in sports.
Major League Baseball kicks off the playoffs tonight with a doubleheader division series. The Baltimore Orioles host the Detroit Tigers at Camden Yards at 2:40 Pacific Time in a best-of-5 series. The Orioles have a much higher winning percentage in nighttime games than the Tigers, but the Tigers boast 3 Cy Young winners on their pitching staff. Immediately following the Tigers-Orioles game, the Kansas City Royals head to Angel Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Angels. The Royals advanced after beating the Oakland A's in an exciting come-from-behind victory in extra innings. This is the Royals' first playoff appearance in 29 years. But if the Royals are going to advance to the next round, they'll have to stop the Angels' offense. The Angels led this league this season with 773 runs scored. Both games will be shown on TBS. Cowboys defensive player C.J. Spillman is returning to the practice field today. He is awaiting the results of the police investigation into his role in an alleged sexual assault last month. League spokesman Greg Aiello says the NFL will continue to look into this matter. Spillman has played in the last 4 games, including last weekend's against New Orleans. Now back for more news.
Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Wahid Lodin.
And I'm Akeisha Nabeta. Have a great day.